iPhone 4S versus the Atrix II. Alright, both of these phones are available on AT&T's network. The only major difference is that the iPhone 4S is on a 3G network while the Atrix II is on AT&T's 4G network. Alright, so let's get right into it. The Atrix II runs on Android 2.3.5 and weighs 5.2 ounces, and the 4S is on Apple 5.1 iOS and weighs 4.95 ounces. So right away, the iPhone 4S is a lighter phone. The Atrix II has a 4.3-inch screen with a resolution of 540 by 960 pixels. The 4S has a 3.5-inch screen with 640 by 960 pixels. So you get a bigger screen on the Atrix II, but the resolution is a little bit better on the iPhone 4S. The battery life on the Atrix II is 8.5 hours talk time, while on the 4S you get 14 hours talk time. So right there you get a lot more talk time on the 4S than the Atrix II. The Atrix II storage is 1,024 megabytes, and then it allows a 32 gigabyte SIM card for more storage if you'd want that. The 4S has only 512 megabytes for the 16 gig. The Atrix II has a 1,000 megahertz dual core processor, while the 4S has a dual core processor of 800 megahertz. So the Atrix II is a faster phone than the 4S. Interesting thing, the cameras on both phones are completely identical. 8 megapixels with 1080p HD video calling, so these phones are exactly the same when it comes to cameras. Internet browsing, for the Atrix II you get HTML and Flash, while the iPhone 4S only supports HTML. And like I said before, the Atrix II is on the 4G network for AT&T, while the 4S only supports 3G. Alright, so now that we've run through the comparison on both phones, it's obvious that both phones have, they're good and bad, but, obviously, we're going to say the iPhone 4S is the better phone. The Atrix is faster, and has a bigger screen, but the iPhone 4S is it's a monster of a phone in its own right, and with the addition of Siri and Apple being the king of apps, there's no question the iPhone 4S wins. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned for our next verses. This is Eddie at Fliptronics.